Welcome to Seller Sessions. I am your host today, Sharon Evan, and today I am writing solo. I'm not only writing solo, but I was actually going to be doing a pre-recording today, meaning I'd already recorded today's show, and then I was going to stream it live because I had something right now. And I lost the video. So I'm going to do everything actually live today. Now, since I am alone, I am going to really quickly need to share everything to the groups, which is okay because people are just slowly joining us. Today's show is going to be about how we can find suppliers outside of Alibaba. Alibaba is not the only way that you can find suppliers. So I just need a minute to quickly share to the groups because Danny won't be sharing to the groups for me today. So I need to do it on my own. In the meantime, if you're here, you can say hello. I really quickly just need to post to the groups. So we'll give it a minute for people to start joining. I see we've already got people here. Hello to everyone watching us live. Share to group. There we go. Share. Okay. We're going to begin in a minute. Hold your horses. It's not easy to do all of this on your own, especially when there isn't a guest to do the intro. But I feel like it's going to be worth it because I'm going to be sharing some of my tips and tricks today. Let's see. Share here. Okay, cool. I shared to some of the groups. We've just got one more and then I'm done. And I can't find it, so we'll leave it. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to give an intro to how today's show came along. So a couple of weeks ago, I had on a guest and we were talking about how to source from a country. It was the USA. And I shared one of my methods of how I look for USA manufacturers, which was actually a method that I came up with myself and by mistake came along to. I didn't even really realize that I had discovered this method. And I'll explain why in a minute. And then I saw that guest went and made a tutorial about one of my methods. And I was like, that's interesting. So I actually wanted to make a tutorial about my own method myself on here. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, I want to give a little bit of a backstory to why this may be important for you today. So we all know, and I've personally been speaking about this almost every single week for the last couple of months, that supply chain right now is really, really broken. And if you actually do sell products and you actually do bring products in from China, then you know that it's a bit of a bitch to bring stuff into America right now, or really just to get anything into a ship, because the logistics world is just extremely messed up right now, and it's honestly just a huge mess. I don't really have a way to sugarcoat it. So a lot of people have started to look for ways to be able to save their products, let's say, by moving their manufacturing to a country that is closer to where they're selling. Now, I have been sourcing outside of China since I was really young, from a really young age. I started selling online when I was 15, but my dad already had a jewelry factory in New Zealand, and I've been in this world of importing and exporting from a really, really young age, and I've never seen it being the way that it is right now. I've never seen a container be 20 to 25K from China to the US. It's never happened before. Anyway, as someone that also sells herself online, and then not me, I mean, I sell my products online. And then as someone who also coaches people, I've seen a lot of people really, really struggling with just their products not really being viable anymore, which is why my last, shows have been about manufacturing in Vietnam, manufacturing in the US, talking about logistics and talking about this because that's what we're all going through right now. So one of the methods how this came along was I have a very large client who, their product is made out of wood and it's a big product and it just is not going to be profitable if they continue to make it in China and ship it to the US. So we were looking, being resourceful at all sorts of different methods all sorts of different places that maybe the product could be made. They're in Australia, so possibly Australia, possibly Vietnam, possibly the US, Mexico. We've been really, really digging deep into where can we manufacture this product where it's not going to be such a hassle and cost so much money to send over. And I met with a sourcing agent in the US, and the person said to me, which was also the guest, what if we were to look at composite wood? Now, if you are someone who is an entrepreneur and are successful, you're usually someone who's very resourceful, especially if you have been making products for a while. Really, you want to know everything about the materials of the products. I didn't know anything about composite wood. And I was like, interesting. What does that mean? So I went to YouTube and I typed in composite wood manufacturers or how is composite wood made and all of these different things so that I could learn about the material, about what is composite wood. And then I realized while I was doing this that I was actually watching the YouTube video of a manufacturer. It was a manufacturer who had been, I think they had been interviewed by CNN or something a couple of years ago. And it was their actual warehouse. And I was like, interesting. And then I was like, oh, it's just really interesting. Maybe I can find, different manufacturers this way. And then I started looking at all sorts of different things like face cream manufacturers. And the thing is on YouTube, because it is also a search engine, when you start typing something in, it'll then finish it for you. So for example, if you were to type in, let's just say you have a product that is made out of jute, right? Then you may type in jute manufacturer and then space, and then YouTube will complete that for you. So it may say Bangladesh, India, USA, not USA, but whatever it may be. So that is one of the methods that I wanted to share with you guys today. And to be honest, this is something that I just kind of figured that I'd actually been doing for a while, and I didn't really realize that I was being shown to a lot of manufacturers, because if I don't know a material, I want to sound, and I've been doing this for years. If I'm speaking to a Chinese manufacturer, because, I've been sourcing from China for a long time. If I'm speaking to a Chinese manufacturer, I want to sound as if I know everything about the material of the product it is that I'm looking to source. And if I don't know anything about the material yet, then I need to learn about it. And that is when I usually go online. I go to Google, YouTube, whatever it may be, and I will learn about how the manufacturing of the product, what it looks like. I will look at the materials. I want to sound like a pro. And then I realized that I've been doing this for years, and most of the time it's usually a factory that is showing you the inside of their factory and showing you how the product is made. And sometimes that YouTube channel is by the factory themselves. That's A, or B, in the description of the YouTube video, it will have the manufacturer's details. So I had actually done this before. I had found one, and I'm going to share my screen in a moment and give you guys some examples. I had found a manufacturer of a certain product, material basically. And I found the founder or the CEO in LinkedIn, and I reached out to them there. And I've been doing this method for a while now, as I have been trying to get it's not going to make sense for every product, but there are some products where it makes sense to get away from China and to start looking at other countries. Now, the truth is, keeping it real, in my experience, a lot of the sourcing agents in the Amazon world aren't like huge sourcing agents or companies. They're not like actual companies that have been doing this for a very, very long time. And they're mostly sourcing for Amazon sellers rather than like sourcing agents that are, they've been doing this for a long time, not just for Amazon sellers, but in general. So something else that I've been doing is I've been going to YouTube and typing in, for example, injection molding in Mexico. And then I've not been clicking on any video that is by an Amazon related influencer, no matter who it is. So even if it was me, right? So, because I'm also an Amazon, YouTube person, but I've only been listening to pros in that field. So for example, I listened to a YouTube video, which was a part of a podcast of this woman who she helps people huge factories that already have their manufacturing set up in the US to then move their manufacturing to Mexico. And these aren't like new sort of Amazon seller types of factories. These are people that have, got their own warehouses, their own factories in the US, and they're looking to move it to Mexico to make it cheaper. So I looked for this woman, I found her on LinkedIn, and I reached out to her. Now, she did answer me back, and I also found another man who I'd listened to who was talking about reshoring and bringing manufacturing back to the US. And these are not Amazon-related people. These are people that have been, for most of their entire life, being manufacturing or in the manufacturing field way before selling on Amazon became a thing. And those are the types of people that I wanted to reach out to and I wanted to listen to, because they have, they've got that experience that possibly a lot of people out there don't. So I reached out to a lot of people. I even tried to actually bring one of the guys onto Seller Sessions, who is an expert in reshoring back to the US. Maybe I'll get him on. We don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen yet. So I wanted to give you guys a few examples of how you can find manufacturers outside of the US, outside of Alibaba. I know I've been speaking about the US up to now, but everything I just said you can do for any country, really. You can also type in, if your product is made out of, I don't know, let's just say that you have a cup, right? Thanks, Megla, for sending me this cup. Anyway, let's just say that you have a cup. You could type in stainless steel cup manufacturing on YouTube, and it may be that you'll see there a manufacturer in, I don't know, India, for example, right? And then you then start going down the rabbit hole. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you guys some examples. All right, you guys can see my screen, I think. Let's see if you can. I think you can see my screen, so I think we're good. Right? Somebody could type in and tell me if you can. Now, if you're listening to this on the podcast, yes, you guys can see it. If you're listening to this on the podcast, you will probably have to find this on the Seller Sessions YouTube channel, although I'll do my best to show you, to explain what I'm actually doing. So you can see here, I'll start with the first one. I've got everything already ready here. Hold on, let me just quickly make sure that everyone can see what I'm doing. Okay, cool, you can. Great. This is me on YouTube. So this is how it all started. I typed in, for example, composite wood USA, and it started learning more about composite wood because I didn't know anything about it. And you can see here that it has come up with a manufacturer, right? Now, this could be manufacturers for sustainable hardwood decking. So they're specifically for decking. They're probably not going to be right for my client. but I may be able to reach out to them and say, look, we're looking for, composite wood manufacturer for this and this type of product. Is there anyone that you could, could give me a contact for that I could reach out to, for example? Okay, but this is how everything started, and I developed this own method for myself. I'm going to give another example. So let's just say you wanted to learn a little bit more or try and find a manufacturer for face cream. Okay, so I typed in here face cream manufacturing process USA, although it didn't come up with specifically a face cream manufacturer for the USA. It came up with a company in China. But this shows you the production of cosmetic creams. I watched a little bit of this video, but then I went and I looked up this company, and you can see here it's got the company name, okay, over here. And I found them on LinkedIn, right? So you can see here, I can see them on LinkedIn. I can learn more about them. I can then go and find them on Alibaba if I want. I can go look them up on, you know what, we could actually do this right now. I wasn't planning to show you guys Import Yeti because Import Yeti is like my little secret, but we could also go to something like Import Yeti if the company is here. I'll have to come on another time for Import Yeti. Let's see. No, they're not on Import Yeti, so we'll leave them for another time. Okay, so I've looked up the company on YouTube, or I looked up face cream manufacturing on YouTube, and then I found a company here, and I then could reach out to them over here. Now, they're in China, so I may as well just find them on Alibaba, but I want to give you an example of how I did this for a company in the US. So I went to YouTube and I typed in wood manufacturer US, and you can see here that Oakwood Veneer is a actual company, okay? And you can see here their actual, their actual website here. They have a YouTube channel and videos about how their whole entire manufacturing process for wood veneer products. So this is how I developed this method. It was actually this specific company. And then I looked them up on LinkedIn, and then I found the owner's name here. Okay. And you can see here, you can actually click on message and message them. So this is one way that you can look for manufacturers not using Alibaba. If you're also looking to get outside of China, I have a lot of different methods, but this is something that has actually been working for me for the US and for Mexico as well. So I wanted to share this with you. Now, obviously, this involves a lot of rabbit hole because you start off with, for example, wood manufacturing USA, and then you need to actually click. You need to go over here and look for links or look for a name. But this is how you can also find the types of manufacturers that many people would not. You can see another method is actually using LinkedIn. So I went to LinkedIn and I typed in plywood, for example, if your product is made out of plywood. And you can see here, there's a whole bunch of different plywood companies. You can see Wood Vietnam, Timber Veneer, Plywood, etc. So this may be a Vietnam company, okay, or listed groups. This may be a group on there, etc. But I think you guys are getting the point. So LinkedIn has been an amazing place for me to look for different types of companies, just by, even if like you were to go to, I think I've got it here as well, wood manufacturing. I found another company, Blue Water Wood Alliance in Ontario, and then I found the actual they call it Wood Manufacturing Cluster of Ontario. Here, read about it a little bit, and I could move on from there. I've got a few different examples here. Injection Molding USA, you need an injection molding company. You can see here, Rodon Group. Okay, I then looked them up on Google, found them on Google. You've got here a phone number and you can contact them. Another one here, Injection Molding USA, Tenier Plastics Injection Molding. They've got an entire video about their injection molding processes, their manufacturing for custom injection molding parts and assemblies. And then you go here, same thing, and you can look at contact. So there was another thing that I had here, but I can't see it. I've got it up. So this is one method. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for a second. Okay, you guys should be able to see me now. Awesome. This is one method that you can use to look for manufacturers outside of just Alibaba, especially if you're looking to get away from China. And then another method that I found by mistake, I'm going to share with you guys now. So I had a client that was looking for a product made out of memory foam, basically. And I asked her to buy one of her competitors' products and to take a photo for me of all the labels that were on the product, and also to take a photo for me of just everything that was to do with the product. And one of the photos that she took was this. It says certipure.us, and it says that this product is approved foams by this company that basically is, I think it's an association for memory foam products. And I was like, interesting. So I went to Google and I typed in the company, the association's name. And then I found here, it says for manufacturers and retailers. And then it says find a foam producer. Now, if there is in the US, if there is an association for memory foam products that are certified by this company, then anyone that is certified by that company should be a good supplier, technically, right? And then I started scrolling through this, and you've got different approved manufacturers from all over the world. A lot of them here are in China, but not all. Okay. So you can see this is another method for looking for suppliers outside of Alibaba. If your specific niche requires certain certifications and there are certain associations for that specific niche, then actually looking up that specific association or whatever it may be on Google and finding their website, they usually will have a list of their approved suppliers or manufacturers, and you can then find potential manufacturers this way. So you could use this to then actually go and hold on, I've lost you guys. You could actually use this to then find the actual supplier. There you are. Okay, I need to just remove this. There you go. You can use this associations to actually then go and find the suppliers by using Alibaba, by typing in their name, or by going to Import Yeti, or by going into Google or whatever it may be, global sources, looking up their website. But Alibaba is not the only place where you can find suppliers. So recapping what we learned today. If you want to find a supplier outside of Alibaba, mostly also outside of China, okay, then one of the methods that you can use is you can actually go to YouTube and type in whatever the material or the process of the manufacturing of that specific product looks like. You can go to YouTube and you can type it in, and a lot of the times there are going to be, honestly, there's going to be so many different types of videos. It could even be that a supplier of a specific type of product was interviewed by a news outlet. And I've found many of these, and they're showing you their entire factory on this video, etc. And all you need to do is find their name and then go to Google, look them up, and contact them. That is one method. And the second method is that you can then find them on LinkedIn. You can also go to LinkedIn and you can type in, for example, injection molding, and you can find people that work for specific factories worldwide. You can also do this for Mexico, any country, honestly. Like, I've been doing this for many, many different countries. And then if there isn't a specific association around your specific product, you can also then look up that association. A lot of the times they're going to have approved suppliers, and you can also find the suppliers that way and look them up wherever they will be and contact them that way. So those are two methods that I have been using, and I have found a supplier in the US using this method. And honestly, it happened by mistake. It was just by going onto YouTube and learning about the material. And then I realized that that specific manufacturer's YouTube channel it wasn't even their YouTube channel. They were just interviewed, I think it was. I realized that it was the actual supplier, and I had their name there, and I contacted them on LinkedIn, and that's how the whole relationship started. Whether we will continue with them or not is a different story. But I just realized that this method that I've been using for a long time, which is learning about the material of that specific product by YouTube or Google or whatever, could actually have led me this entire time to actually finding manufacturers. So this is two methods of how, technically it was three. It's YouTube, LinkedIn, and looking at the associations of how you can find unique methods of how you can find suppliers outside of Alibaba. There's plenty of other methods up my sleeve, but that's the ones that I wanted to sort of focus on today. So I encourage you to try them out and see where it can lead you for your specific niche. And that was it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed today's session. Next week, I will leave next week's guest as a surprise. So I'll see you all next week. Isabella will be back on Monday, and Danny will be back on Tuesday, and I will see you all next Thursday. If anyone wants to reach out to me, you can find me on Sharon Evan on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, or you can also go to my YouTube channel, Sharon Evan. I'll see you guys all next week, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.